Hey everybody, it's on screen, off screen. We're back with another wonderful episode. We're doing our Christmas episode this week. And Christmas is a time of togetherness, and I'm really glad that we get together and do this podcast. I've got two wonderful hosts here. We've got Josh and Lauren, and we're going to review three Christmas classics. Next week, we will be watching Dragonheart together, so stay tuned, stay together, and stay happy. The first one we're going to do is Christmas with the Kranks. And Lauren, you suggested this one. Let's go with you.
Okay, I think I've skipped a couple Christmases not watching this show. Um, and it was really funny watching it this year because I was actually mad at the Cranks this time. Because I'm usually like on the side. Anybody who hasn't seen Christmas with the Cranks, it's this mother and father who their daughter leaves. They're empty nesters, and so like everything seems sad because they don't have their daughter with them. And then the dad realizes how much money they spend on Christmas, and he's like, "We'll actually save money if we go on like this cruise. So let's not spend any money on Christmas and just put it towards this trip." Um, but they are in this community that loves Christmas. They're very involved every year. And so when people realize that they're not getting involved with everything, they start kind of like protesting to them. And they're like, they don't even decorate for Christmas. That's what got me this time. I was like, that's free. They even said if you just like leave the door unlocked, they will put Frosty up on the roof for them. And they're like, no, it's about the ideal or whatever. And I was like, come on, Tim Allen, just let him have Frosty. Like, it's free. You will still have money for your cruise. It's fine. Um, but there's also a song at the very beginning of this movie that if I listen to it, that's like the start of my Christmas spirit season. Like that's what gets me kicked off for Christmas basically is this song. Um I don't know how that ended up happening or like when that started being. I think it was close to like when I was living in Logan. So that would have been like 2017, 18-ish. Is when I would like once I listened to that song, I was like, okay, it can now be Christmas time, everybody. um yeah, I like this movie. I think it's funny. Um it's very Tim Allen-ish, I realized this time around. Especially his little prank battle in between the old guy across the street that keeps calling him old man, and then he keeps like getting angry and angrier about his like the cat and this old man. I like that dynamic, but I could also tell that I was like, that seems very like Tim Allen humor to me. Um, I never liked the tanning scene. That always made me uncomfortable. um, yeah. Otherwise, I don't think this is my in one of my favorite Christmas movies anymore, but it is one that I like try to watch every year,
Okay.
but isn't a must watch. But I was glad I watched it this year.
And would you watch this with your family or like?
Yeah, so this is definitely like one of my mom's favorites. So like we would
Okay.
watch it with my mom, um, and yeah, we would watch like the Santa Clauses. It was like Tim Allen was Christmas for us.
Tim Allen was Christmas.
Tim Allen was Christmas, and it's really funny, like because he's definitely Scott Calvin, beginning Scott Calvin as his character in Christmas of the Cranks. But I always think of the scene where the mom's trying to get the hickory honey ham for her.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah, she's fighting that. Yeah, it's yeah. I think it's all good fun. Except he could have not been such a Scrooge and just put up some decorations. I get like Christmas lights mean electricity, which means money, but like, come on, he was saving
I
thousands. It would have been fine.
looked it up this year, and doing a pretty good Christmas, like not the one where it's synchronized to sound and everything, costs you like $5 for a month. It's not a lot of money. I thought it was more
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah.
like $5.
Yeah. So he can
Okay, so
suck it
what
up.
what shifted this year? Was it just like your attitude towards him sucking it up? Like what? Why didn't you like it as much?
I think I was like more aware of the Tim Allen of
Okay,
the movie.
She was being more critical of it because she knew she was going to have to
Yeah,
talk about it on this podcast.
probably. Um, yeah, because like I think it's the first time that like I shared Christmas of the Cranks with anybody because like I don't think I've ever heard of anybody not watching Christmas of the Cranks. And then this is like the first time that I was like, oh yeah, you guys should watch this. And like before, it's just like something we'd watch and I didn't really think about it. And then I like actually thought about it watching it this time. So I think that's why. I think Josh nailed it.
cool. So, what was your rating before? What's your rating now?
I'd say my rating before was an 8. My rating now is a 7.
Okay. So 1 point, not that big a deal. And is there what's your favorite part of the movie? Like when you were a kid, was it the honey ham part? Or was it something else?
It was probably the honey ham or when he's like tackling the kid Spike and he's like trying to get him to like he's like no look I'm like back on your side I need your help and stuff but like and they're trying to steal the Christmas tree from the neighbors and stuff like the shenanigans they try to get up to try to get Christmas in one go in one night.
Crazy.
I think is my favorite part.
Cool.
But yeah, I remember loving the part where he just tackles Spike. He's like, no, don't hurt me. But
And so you're watching this and you're having to be more critical. Why did him what so before you weren't as against him being like, I just want to go and not do the Christmas thing and go on vacation. What shifted this time? Was it like why
it was
you get what I'm
just
saying?
specifically because, like, before I was like, oh, he just doesn't want to do Christmas.
Yeah.
But this time I was like, the only reason he doesn't want to do Christmas is because money. And for him to put up Frosty doesn't cost him anything. So why is he so adamant about this one little thing that doesn't cost money?
That doesn't cost any money.
That could tide the neighbors over for letting him not do a Christmas party, not do all these other things. Like that's the least that they could do to just placate the neighbors.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. Josh, what do you think?
Lauren, what do you think Conlon and I will think of this movie?
I think you guys are going to go a little bit lower than what I am.
Okay. So you think I'm going to say like a 6?
Probably. And then you're going to be like, this is the best Christmas movie ever. Just kidding.
Well, I hate to be that guy, but this is the worst Christmas movie ever. And I'm not even doing a bit with that. It is legitimately the worst Christmas movie. It had one laugh the entire time, and it had the worst couple in any Christmas movie I had ever seen. It exemplifies the worst human values I had ever seen in a Christmas movie. I had never seen this one before this week, and I had always heard about it. Conlon introduced this as a Christmas classics. Now, the next one we're going to talk about, I don't think is a Christmas classic because I had never even heard about it before.
Yeah, I said that weird because the next one is definitely not. It's super niche.
This one is borderline Christmas classic or not, but it's one I had heard about and a lot of people watch year to year. And I'll be straight up. If I ever marry a woman as selfish and bitchy as that girl, I want you two to come and either tear me out of my home and restrain me from going back or just shoot me because she is the worst human being. She only cares about what people think about her. She's all me, I. She never once does anything for somebody else, and she never listens to Tim Allen's character. Now, to be fair, Tim Allen's character also doesn't listen to her. But what makes her worse is when Tim Allen says, "We need to be a team on this," she loses her mind and she's like, "I am the soldier on your war," blah, 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 and makes it all about her. Um, this movie, I don't think the main two characters ever had a conversation with each other because every time they talked to each other, it was past each other. It was never to each other. Nobody ever listened to the other character. Nobody ever responded. Both characters just responded to the conversation they wanted to be having. So we have a Christmas movie that is about crappy family values, about being a crappy neighbor, about being selfish and having everything go your way anyway. I absolutely despise this movie as a Christmas movie. I can't stand it. It was awful.
What's your rating?
I'll give it a 3 because there was one laugh.
Which laugh? What one was it?
I found it really funny when they sent the Christmas carolers over and they were like, maybe they just need some Christmas spirit. I was like, okay, that's funny. That's a funny neighborly prank. And it's a lot more wholesome than like sending the missionaries to your, ex-Mormon friends or sending it's just more wholesome. And then they just start slipping on the ice. Funny, when the mom came out and slipped on the ice, I was like, there's no reason for her to be out there. What the freak is even going on? But from the neighbor saying maybe they just need some Christmas spirit to them falling, I found that funny. But that was
okay. So I am going to be the most negative person about this movie because I hated this movie. I do not like this movie at all. I agree with everything Josh said. I think the couple is not a good couple. At the very end, they try to make Christmas all work out for the daughter. And I'm like, just invite the daughter on the freaking cruise. If you're saving so much money, let's go on a cruise. That's totally fine. The daughter's kind of rude for just showing up out of nowhere and not talking to anybody. The neighbors drive me nuts. I'm like, so I both don't like the main couple because I'm like, you guys are a horrible couple. And I don't like the neighbors because I'm like, just leave them the hell alone. Let them go on their stupid Christmas thing. Don't try to trick them with Frosty. Just let them be. Leave them alone. It bugged me. I was like, you are an annoying neighbor. You are not somebody that I like. And you go across the street and you have this feud with the old guy. And you're supposed to feel bad because his wife's going through some serious stuff, right? But I'm like, you're an annoying, awful person. And I don't like you either. Go ahead, Josh.
I just want to interject and say the reason that this makes it so much worse is because they're not imposing on anybody else. Right? Yeah. Their whole thing is, I'm just not going to decorate and I'm going to mind my own business and I'm going to go on it's not like they're
tearing down other people's decorations or something.
Yeah. He was putting up Frosty at the end, right? There was a noose around Frosty's neck. I thought Frosty was going to be the one hanging and it was going to be by a noose, and I thought the neighbors were going to riot because Frosty was hanging by a noose. Right? He's not doing that. Right? He's not antagonizing anybody. He's not doing anything other than minding his own business. So when they come in and intrude, it makes it so much worse.
So much worse. I'm like, I would hate you. I would hate my entire neighborhood. I would be so pissed. I'd be like, just leave me alone. I'm going on a cruise this year. Be happy for me that I'm going on a cruise. Leave me alone. I was actually annoyed during this movie because I was like, I know you kind of a neighbor. I have a neighbor who I'm not going to say on this podcast growing up because this is public, but everyone doesn't like her in the entire ward. And she doesn't know that because she is this kind of person and she drives everyone bonkers, absolutely nuts. And I can see multiple of this person in this show. So I don't like the main couple on their end because they have problems. I don't like the neighborhood because they have problems. When they all come together to finalize Christmas, I'm like, you're just lying to your daughter. This is just a lie. That's what we're doing. They couldn't just be like, you know what, we weren't celebrating Christmas this year. If you're going to fly in, let's fly into Florida. Or if we're going to be here, sorry, we don't have anything decorated. It's going to be okay. I couldn't just talk like normal people. So I'm not finding any kind of value in this show at all. And it was a drudgery to get through. And it is the worst thing Jamie Lee Curtis has ever done by miles. Nothing has been worse. I don't like this movie at all. And I'm really sorry, Lauren. I didn't want to be, I was hoping Josh would be surprisingly positive because I wanted to be the curmudgeon Grinch who was angry. But I did not like this movie. I will not watch it again. It is a 1.
It's very interesting, like my my takeaway from like watching this movie is like, yes, both I come from like a really small town. Community is everything, where the community would act like this if you went
Really?
something out of the normal. Yes. And
To this
so
level?
not to that level. Like, of course, it's blown out of proportion, but like, you would have people like showing up at your house and being like, "Are you okay? I see that your decorations aren't out." Because there's this one house in our community that they would deck out their entire lawn, and there would be like reindeer on their roof. Like, it was a spectacle. But then as they were getting on in years, people were like, "Hey, we noticed that like your stuff isn't out. Can we come over and like help you put that out?" And so like people do that, which I know is different from what happened
I
in
would be
this show.
so much better with the neighbors if that's what it was. It was like,
Yeah.
you know what? We kind of want the entire block made up. I know you guys aren't doing Christmas. Would it be okay if we just come do it for you? And if he would have been like, no, I don't want to do anything, I would have been like, you're a complete douchebag. They're
Yeah.
being completely reasonable.
Yeah.
Knock it off, you know?
But like the takeaway I took from this movie is because like everybody's like butting heads, but then in the end, they ended up trying to tie everything together for everyone, and like everyone pulled through as like a community. And like that's kind of how my community was growing up. Like,
Cool.
you have a lot of people butting heads a lot of the times, and like you're like, oh, the Pollocks and the Owens are at it again or whatever. But then when things like really mattered, people were like, okay, get over yourself and we're gonna put this all together. And that's like what Christmas with the Cranks was for me. And I really didn't read in as much to like the relationships as before, because it's like I watched this as a kid and it was like that went over my head, and it's just like, oh, the tomfoolery and shenanigans. And then, like I said, for me, the takeaway was like, when it mattered, people will be there for you. And like, no matter like how much you guys butted heads and were like actually going at it, they would figure it out. So it's interesting how you can get such different takes.
I'm gonna give it a 2 because I agree with you, and I can see that. Like, I grew up in the country too, and people will come together and they will help you regardless of who you are. We all helped that one lady that nobody likes in the ward. No one likes her, but we've helped her multiple different times because that's what small town ward, country wards do. You are correct on that. I'll give it a 2.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say that's why I gave mine a 3. Was there was one laugh, and the forgiveness of the neighbors is a good value.
Yeah.
But everything else shown is crappy human stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lauren. I do not want to be that nasty. It's Christmas. I want to be happy. Christmas with the not cranky. All right, let's go to the next one, The Miracle Maker. I wanted to watch more claymation. This is mine. That's what I recommended. And so this got recommended highly on claymation. I think it looks good, but it kind of looks like a college project, not a professional created movie. I think it looks like a good college project, which I'm okay with. I think if you've read the Bible, this is a really good, like, this is the story of Jesus done in a short period of time. Like, if somebody didn't know anything about Jesus, they had never seen the Bible, and you wanted to know about that, I would watch this. I think it's pretty decent. It's not as good as I was hoping, but it's not bad either. It was enjoyable. They do a good job of making the story come alive. Like it feels like a real place that we're visiting. There's these little side details of the history, like what's going on during the time period with soldiers and different things. Like they add little side details to it that I think are quite good. I think the water looks really good in the movie. I think the voice work is solid. Everything is solid, but nothing is like, wow, this was amazing. It's just like, that was a story of Jesus done pretty well. That's kind of my thought on it. I didn't have a huge amount more to say. For me, this was like six and a half, 6.5, 7, right in that range. Decent enough. Enjoyed it.
So this is your first time watching it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And you found it just from uh, looking up claymation, or were you
I was on
specifically looking for like a Jesus story, or?
I was on Reddit and I was like, what are the best claymations? And this one got popped up and I was like, I like a thing about Jesus. Everybody could be a little bit more religious, a little bit of spirit in your life. I was like, and I had one person on Reddit, and a few reviews were like, this is the best story about Jesus. This is the best rendition. I don't agree with that, but it is good. And it's solid. It is solid. We watched the Bride one, Corpse's Bride, and I wanted to watch more claymation stuff, and this one just got brought up a lot. Yeah. All right, Lauren, what'd you think?
I did not like the claymation.
Okay. Do you think it was like college project level or even worse than that?
Worse. It felt like, I don't know if you've seen like the Rudolph. It's more puppetry than stop motion. It mimicked that a lot for me,
Okay.
except I felt way uncanny valley about these puppets for some
Okay.
reason. Um, but I mean, I love a good Jesus story. So like the story was fine, but I was taken out of it by the animation. So I ended up trying to do something else, so I wasn't watching it. I was just listening. Um,
It bugged
because
you that much?
yeah, stop motion is very hit or miss for me.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
it hardly ever hits. Um, I would say probably the only reason, like the only solid stop motion animation for me is anything with Tim Burton, because of what the vibe is. It's supposed to be unsettling, and
Okay.
so it like fits with the vibe. And when it's something that's supposed to be wholesome and bringing a different um
Like spirit.
spirit, I don't think stop motion, because it seemed more puppetry, more um yeah, I don't know, it's very,
I get what you're saying.
yeah, so
It felt puppet like it did.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so that it just distracted me so badly that I, yeah, yeah, I mean, love Jesus.
You're like having a hard time reviewing it. You're like, but it wasn't that good. What would you rate it? What's your rating?
I would not watch it again, but Jesus is great.
Okay. 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 Josh, what did you think?
I just want to make sure I heard that right. You said one, right?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. As per usual, I am the voice of reason on this podcast. Um, there's two sides of this. I think the stop motion, they put a lot of effort into it. Um, they did a lot of things that a lot of stop motion wouldn't do, including Tim Burton, and they clearly put a lot of effort into it. I want to applaud the amount of just effort they did. Specifically, I want to call attention to the backgrounds, right? A lot of times in the background, a stop motion thing will just kind of slide or whatever, but like there's the scene with the army, and like the faces are even changing in this background scene, right? So effort was A plus. They put a lot of effort into it. Now the problem is the stop motion was the worst part because anytime they weren't doing some stop motion and they did a little bit of animation, I was like, that's really good. I really like how that looks. Wow, I wish
The
they had
animation
just
did
done
look really good.
the whole thing the way you did this animation because wow, is that so much better.
Is
So
it better partly because it's contrasted to the stop motion? For
no,
me, it honestly was.
it was good animation. Is
Okay.
it arcane? No, right? But like, would I give this better than like side college project vibes? Yeah, this is better than college project, right? Uh,
Okay.
no college kid is going to go through the effort of doing those background characters or setting up the sets the way that they did in the show. Like, effort was great, but my problem is it's like if I did it because like I'm just not skilled. That's my problem. Is like I'm
Okay.
not an artistic person. So if I were to do stop motion, it would even if I put like tons of time into it and I learned a bunch of tricks and I got to a better than college level, right? I just don't have the eye for it. So it would look like this. So I would say better than college, worse than professional. If
Okay.
that makes sense. So it's like in that range where it's like,
I
man,
see your point.
I really appreciate the amount of effort that they put into this. It's too bad it was wasted on just being a generic story. And on Conlon's point, where it's like, hey, if you're new to the Bible, maybe watch this. But the problem is, we all have religious backgrounds. We all have been fed these shows and things. Is this really what you would recommend? No, it's not. To any audience. Because to any audience, if they're really hesitant, guess what? There's this wonderful thing called the Veggie Tales. And that's your easy way in. You don't need no stop motion weird thing that's happening on screen. You have the Veggie Tales. If you want something more serious, there's so many like produced shows and movies and high
Yeah, you have The
production
Chosen,
church production things, right?
and The Chosen is insane. It's like
The
it's so good.
Chosen, there's so many that it's like, where does this fall? Was this a bad experience? No. Does it have a place? No. Does it have a purpose? Not really. It's just kind of there. It's an interesting, like, hey, stop motion, check it out, right? And I hate to be really negative because, like I said, the amount of effort that they put into this was amazing, right? They put so much effort into making this show. It's just too bad that it's not worth watching in 2025, right? It came out in 1999. Even back then, I'm pretty sure there was better Jesus storytelling productions. So it didn't really have a reason for existing then either. So where does this fall for me? 5 out of 10. Right?
Okay.
I give it a 5 because effort and the animation. It's nothing special because the stop motion is pretty bad. The story is exactly what you expect it to be. It's just the Jesus story. Oh, it's just the Jesus story. I've seen this 1,000 times in my life, and I've seen it better. Um, so yeah, that's where I fall. It's just the most mediocre Jesus storytelling experience you could have.
I think Josh said that really, really well, honestly. Really well. Now, let's go to the last one, the best one, the greatest one. Klaus. Josh, you take it first.
What is there for me to say that we haven't said before? Uh, this is the most underrated, most underappreciated, spectacular piece of animation that has ever come out of Netflix. It's a 10 out of 10. If you haven't seen Klaus, watch Klaus. If you're not really into animation, suck it up. It's totally worth it. Guess what? They told the generic Santa Claus story, but made it their own. In exact contrast to what we
Crazy.
just talked about, they made it special. They made it unique. Music, 10 out of 10. Writing, 10 out of 10. Animation, 10 out of 10. Story, plot, setting, 10 out of 10. Can't do any better than Klaus. It is the second best Christmas movie of all time. It's perfect.
All right, Lauren.
Yeah, I absolutely love our main character in this movie. It's so funny, like watching him go from this spoiled brat to like trying to figure out how to when he gets sent to the island. Like there was something I did the other day that I was like on the phone with my mom, and I was freaking out about something, and I was like, "No, I have to do it." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you sound just like that one character off of Klaus when he's like crying to us. And he's like, I don't want to do this. No, and he like slaps himself or whatever. I like laughed because my mom will send me things all the time, being like, "What were the names in Klaus of the two families? Do I still remember them? No, I can't think of what the two families' names are." But like, she's always like quizzing me about this movie, and she's like, "What's the best Christmas movie?" And so like it goes beyond that, where like I have like this dialogue with my mom too, and I think this was the first, because like with Christmas movies, I, other than the Santa Claus series, I hated movies with Santa Claus in it. I just didn't really like them when it was centered around the Santa Claus story or anything. Kind of always kind of creeped me out. I love this version of Santa Claus in Klaus, and like how it didn't like, it makes sense why he does what he does, and like how they get to this point where things end up being selfless, like when the little girl pops up and he's like, "What's she saying?" When he takes her to the teacher, he's like, "Help me." And like just how everybody fits into this story and helps each other and makes everything become so much more wholesome in this awful town in the middle of nowhere that was meant to like break him. It broke him in the most beautiful way that made him better. And it's like, yeah, this movie's great. 10 out of 10. I love it. Makes me cry. Love the character development. I'm a sucker for like, especially like his arc of being like this selfish person to then like trying to do things for a selfish gain and then finally finding that heart. Like, I'm a sucker for those stories. And because he's such a coward and a weenie at the beginning. I just love how he has to like find that backbone and find like and then like the teacher character, how she like went from like, "Oh, I can be a teacher," to like, "Oh my gosh, I'm just trying to get out of here," to then again being like, "Oh my gosh, I can be this teacher." Like every single character arc is beautiful. It works flawlessly. Animation's gorgeous. 10 out of 10. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this. 10.
This movie is amazing. I talked about how much I love this movie, but I actually loved it even more this time watching it. And I was thinking about our main character. He goes from kind of having everything in the world and just kind of entertaining himself all the time to fighting for a purpose. And he finds that purpose through a work that he didn't think that he would find the purpose in. Um, he kind of stumbles into it. And sometimes you stumble into the right direction in your life. Sometimes that happens. There's a part where he talks to the teacher, and the teacher's like, "You don't know what you did you?" And he doesn't realize it. He's blind to it. And the teacher drags him out, and all of a sudden, this movie that has been dark the entire time gets lights and gets color. And throughout the rest of the movie, there's more color, except for the one moment where he goes against his purpose and he's on the boat and he's sad and everything darkens down again and the colors tone out and they become more neutral. The use of color in this movie is brilliant. But sometimes you need somebody to take you by the hand and say, look at what you can be. Look at what you can do. You've got so much more in you and you don't see it. And the teacher takes him and is like, look at the colors. And the entire world opens up to him. This city that he's been exploring, this city that he's been knocking doors and climbing and going through chimneys changes. It's the same place, but it changes. And if you look at the world in a different way, if you decide to open yourself up, if you decide to, Josh tells this great story where he's driving down this road, and for the first time he looks up and he sees this beautiful sunset. Your life can change like that. Someone can take you by the hand. You can choose to see things differently, and you can see colors that you didn't see before. That is this freaking movie. That is what this movie does. It is brilliant. When I was a kid, I've talked about this on a podcast episode earlier, but I wasn't allowed to believe in Santa. And there's this one year where I was like, I think Santa's real, Dad. I think you're wrong. I think you're completely full of crap. And my dad was like, you want to bet? Either I'm going to bring you presents or Santa is. Which one do you want? And I was like, well, shoot, checkmate. I'll go with you, Dad. And it was the whole, it takes away from Jesus to believe in Santa, blah, 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 blah. I don't necessarily think that's true, but that's how I grew up. So any of these Santa movies, I was not into at all. I wasn't into Santa Claus. I wasn't. The one that I do like is Christmas Vacation, but that's because that little animation in the beginning, he gets electrocuted and started on fire. Like, that's where I was with Santa Claus. And this movie comes along that is all about Santa and knocks me on my ass with how good it is. First time I watched it, I was like, what the hell? And I told everybody about it. I told everybody I found about this movie about Santa. Me, a guy who has literally never been a Santa person my entire life. It is that stupid good. You have this magical aspect with the music and him following the leaves in the wind and the wind chimes with his wife. And the very end, he's like, I'm coming. I'm coming. And he just walks off and you hear the wind. And it's just the wind. And it's these moments of silence, these moments of wind, these moments of self-reflection that you can find peace and you can find hope and you can find love. That is this movie. I love it. It's not just good. It is freaking great. And it is the best Christmas movie. I fought against that for a long time. I was like, there's this one, there's this one, this one. This is the best Christmas movie. Netflix did an incredible job. This is the best thing Netflix has ever produced. This is one of the best animations of all time. And this is maybe the most underrated movie ever.
So Conlon's going to give his third official 10 out of 10.
I am. It deserves a 10. I would be wrong not to give this a 10.
Hold for the applause, everybody.
I literally can't find anything wrong with this movie. Even the pop song in the middle, which I'm usually like, it doesn't match the rest of the movie at all. It somehow works for that scene. And I think it's because you get introduced to the girl who is based on an actual culture, which is super cool. But, and she kind of is different. So you have this different aspects that's brought in and you're discovering different. And so you have different music that goes with the different and it works. It's just, I think this was accidentally better than it had any right to be. There's just so many things where I'm like, you wove so many needles and threads and made an hour and a half movie that is brilliant. Like, you have all these other side characters that you care about. You care about these townspeople. You care about this two goofy people who just are like, mine. That should be freaking annoying. But I care about that. I'm like, oh, romance. It's just so, it's so good. It's so good.
it has like a lot of tropes that I would normally be like, whatever, but that they make it really, because you have like the Capulets and the Montague type thing going on, and then like going back to like the little girl, I love the message of like she couldn't speak to them, but like she saw everything and wanted to be like a part of it, and then them being able to like somehow um like integrate all of that caring without like perfect communication, like just like the humanity of it all. Ugh, yeah, it's really good. But and it does it in like wholesome, funny, and cute ways. Like I love the part where he's like trying to get the kids to write letters, but it's kind of like him doing like shady back deal alley things with these kids, but it's just letters that he's trying to. Like the first kid, he's like, "Oh, you want this? You're gonna have to write a letter first, and then I can mail it to you, or whatever." um, yeah, it's just like it's genius how, like you said, they threaded everything in to have just like such a wholesome story, such like beautiful imagery, beautiful music, like the symbolism in the visual, as well as like the writing of everything, as well as like yeah, everything just comes together perfect, and it definitely deserves 10 out of 10 from all of us. So
Best Christmas movie.
it was the
Well,
best
guys,
Christmas movie.
it's what's better, Josh? What's better than this movie?
Die Hard.
I was
Oh, so Die Hard is a 10 out of 10 movie?
Yeah.
He's saying it's an 11 out of 10 if it's beaten Klaus.
There's just more personal side reasons for Die Hard for me. I agree with everything
Okay.
Conlon said. I think that this movie is more than just a movie, which is why everyone should watch it, whether you're a fan of animation, whether you care about Christmas or not, whether it's even Christmas time or not, which when this is released, it won't be. Um, it is more than a movie. But I just have personal reasons attached to Die Hard. On top of it being a 10 out of 10, it's a perfect movie.
Well, with that, guys, we're going to end our episode. We appreciate you watching. I hope that whatever's going on in your life, you make some goals, you keep going forward. Things can be brighter. When you have a chance, look up as a sunrise, tell your friends that you love them. It's going to be a good life. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you guys.